Good afternoon, and thanks for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in today for Fran Stoddard. It was just about 2 years ago that we featured a program on Mount Mansfield Villages. We learned that the Villages is a network. It links volunteers to neighbors who need services and support to stay active, socially connected, and independent for as long as possible. There is now a second Villages program in Vermont, and this one is called Lamoille Neighbors. Today we're going to learn the specifics of Lamoille Neighbors, from the services it provides locally to its inclusion in the National Village Network. Joining me this afternoon is the Vice President of Lamoille Neighbors, Joan Green. Joan, good afternoon. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So I want to start with the big picture, this National Village Network. Tell us what it is, what it's about.
All right. As you said, it is national, and it's a nonprofit organization started about 20 years ago in Boston. And the village that was started there in Beacon Hill is still going strong. And now the National Association has more than 200 villages across the nation. And we are a part of one of those, one of the two in Vermont. The organization is based in St. Louis, and they provide support and guidance for starting villages. They have an annual conference. They give supporting documents. They're available by the web, and we've been very happy being members of the Village to Village Network.
So this has grown exponentially since that first Village to Village network in the Boston area, you said.
Yes, and only 20 years is two.
and let's underscore that this is sort of, there's two parts. There are the members and there are the volunteers, which we'll get into details, but that's the foundation of what this is about, the members and the volunteers?
Yes, but every village is different. But the whole point of the villages is helping one another. It's neighbors helping neighbors, and it's through volunteers, not through paid services.
So how does that national network that we've been talking about, how does that relate to your Lamoille Neighbors village? How does that work?
It's all tied in through the internet. And we can go to them for help with everything from finances to communications to how to get better engagement with volunteers. We actually communicate with them daily.
And we're seeing one of the slides you provided, why a village? And one of the key things here is the demographics in Vermont. I know this is working nationally, but this is particularly important in Vermont, where we have some of the highest median age next to Maine in the country, correct?
Next to Maine and Wyoming. And yes, right now, the statistics show that 1 out of 4 Vermonters is over the age of 60. And most of our members are over the age of 70. And we have many that are over the age of 90. Lamoille Neighbors is in Lamoille County, and it started in Hyde Park, and then went to include Morrisville, and then Johnson, Stowe, Elmore, and Wolcott.
So as I understand correctly, those are the places that you serve. But the Neighbors is not a housing or a building. There's some things that it's not. And one of the other pieces that I think is important to underscore that it's not is this is not medical or case management.
That is correct. We are not a medical or nursing facility, and our services are provided by volunteers.
Which we'll get to in just a moment. What's the sort of the mission and the vision, Joan?
The vision is, we like to say that our goal is to help seniors minimize isolation, which is talked about a great deal lately. Our seniors are isolated, they are lonely, and many are housebound because they can't drive. they've lost their driving ability, either through disability with vision or with other disabilities, or they're unable to get to their car, and they need help. They want to stay in their own home, and so we want to help them maximize their independence and involvement in their community and stay in the home which they choose.
Independence and staying at home, what great messages those are, absolutely. You and I talked before the program, and you said you define it as sort of 3 core parts of Lamoille Neighbors. So what are those 3 key components or core parts of Lamoille Neighbors?
Well, the one that we talk about most is the vetted volunteers. Volunteers go through a criminal background check, and if they're driving, they also go through a driving record check with the Vermont DMV. We also provide a list of vetted service providers in our area that our members have actually used and recommend, so that our other members can trust those providers. And then, very importantly, we have ongoing social, cultural, and educational activities for members, for volunteers, many for the public.
It's a word that appeared twice on that slide, and I know it's important to the work that you all do. This is the word vetted. In other words, you said it, you're doing criminal background checks. I can have peace of mind knowing that I'm entering this network and that the volunteers that may work with me are vetted.
That is correct. And the state of Vermont has a background criminal check through the state.
You brought, again, a slide that's going to help us understand the services that might be available through Lamoille Neighbors. So if you could walk us through those, please.
The services, number one is transportation. Driving is the most important one, the one that our members ask for most frequently. And so we take people to most importantly to medical appointments, to shop, to things like hair appointments, to visit friends, and other places. We have home handy persons who go into the home and might change light bulbs or batteries. We've had handy people construct or repair handrails, clear ice from walkways, and unusual things like make bear-proof composts and many other things. We have friendly visits, and that can be by phone or by going into the home, or sending cards just to keep in contact with people who can't get out. We provide technology help with things like iPads and Kindles and cell phones. And we do lots of education about what to do as far as making their homes safe, and provide information for our seniors.
So you brought along that slide. You also shared some pictures that help illustrate some of those examples. One of them, just the first one here, is a food delivery.
Right. This is Lamoille Neighbors helped the food bank deliver meals during the worst of the pandemic to senior housing in Morrisville. And
we have an in-home visit, maybe? What's this about?
This was a program that the pianist started in her own home to make music, and it shows one of our members playing the piano. The other member, you can't actually tell, but he's playing a drum, and then there are others in the room, and we're singing, or trying to sing, but having a good time.
Well, as we show this final picture in the sequence, it's a winter dog walk, but it allows me to remind folks that this is not a medical or case management or a dog walking service. So why did we include this picture?
This is a temporary service that we have for people who may be in the hospital having surgery or hospitalizations for a short period of times. We also deliver meals after people have been hospitalized, just to help them over the hump. But these are short-term services.
Joan, the pandemic, of course, has affected everything. How has it affected Lamoille Neighbors?
It's affected it greatly. We actually had to stop most of our services because we couldn't go into the homes. Everybody was told to stay home. And we are the most riskiest group of Vermonters, those over 65. So we stopped services. We had to suspend one of our March 2020 speakers, Bill McKibben. And everybody knows Bill McKibben as an environmentalist in Vermont. So we couldn't hold that because of the pandemic. We had to go to Zoom, which has been very effective, but not all of our seniors have internet. So the latest thing we've done is to have Zoom at one of our libraries and then transport our members who don't drive or don't have internet to the library, and then the Zoom production is shown on large screen.
Joan, I need to jump in. We have about a minute left, and I want to be sure that we address the costs involved. While we have the contact information up that people can note, there are real costs involved here because of background checks to make sure that everyone is safe and vetted. So what are any costs that are involved in the program?
So yes, there are the vetting expenses. There's also the liability insurance. There's website service expenses, national dues, and we have a part-time employee, office supplies, and we do have scholarships available, and so we're very thankful for the support of our agencies.
Well, as I thank you and say goodbye, I'm going to ask our director, John Walker, once again to put up the website and the phone number. We will leave that up while I say, Joan, thank you very much for being with us and noting that is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit across the fence.